Trying to pay a fine and keep getting asked for a PCN number? Today we'll look at where to find your PCN number, what to do if you've lost it, and a few good excuses that might get you out of having to pay. PCNs, or penalty charge notices, are issued by local authorities like the council and sometimes the police. They cover a number of contraventions, such as common parking violations like not paying to use a council space or overstaying the amount of time you paid for. They also cover some road violations like wrongly entering a bus lane or parking on double yellow lines. Unpaid road fees like the London congestion charge and the DART charge could also see you issued with a PCN. Many people wrongly think that a council PCN is not all that serious, often confusing them with the lesser parking charge notices issued by private parking companies. While these two may look and sound remarkably similar, they're actually quite different in how they work, with council penalty charge notices being an actual fine, whereas a parking charge notice is considered to be more like an invoice you have to pay. Private tickets, while still not to be ignored, can take a fair while to escalate to court, and a private company cannot really force you to pay anything until a judge says you have to. Whereas council PCNs are by far the more strict and fast acting of the two, with court action being possible in just over 42 days in some circumstances. PCNs can either be left on your windscreen or sent to you through the post, with no effect on their enforceability. Ignore a council penalty charge notice, then after 28 days the council will send out a formal notice called a charge certificate. This notice won't just inform you of the missed payment deadline, it'll also increase your fine by a whopping 50%. You'll only get 14 days to pay this, or a court order will be issued, which could then result in the use of a bailiff. In short, if it's a penalty charge notice from the council, then either pay up or appeal promptly. Never ignore it. A PCN number is a unique identifier code given to each PCN offence. It can be found at the top of your notice and will begin with 2 letters that indicate why and where the PCN was issued. The PCN number is important because it's needed to make a payment online in order to clear the fine. You might also need it for other reasons, such as challenging a PCN. If you want to check, pay or appeal a PCN online, it's pretty straightforward. Either just go directly to the website of the council in question, or head to gov.uk to access the postcode checker and be linked to the correct page on the correct council's website. Once on the right page, you'll need the PCN number from your ticket in order to proceed. Unfortunately, this all becomes somewhat more complicated if you lost your ticket, and with it lost your PCN number. If this is the case, then your first port of call should be to contact the council who runs the car park or the roadway in question. With a bit of digging, you can usually find information about local councils by looking online, or alternatively, you could return to the area in question and check the signage for details. By the way, if the signage or the road markings aren't clear, then take the opportunity to snap some photos to possibly use in an appeal, as parking operators are obligated to make their signage clear. Once you've got the council's details, then give them a call straight away, if possible, though often you're going to have to communicate via email and then await a response, which might slow things down. You'll need some information ready when you contact them, usually the time and date of the parking contravention, the address of the incident, and your vehicle's registration. However, some councils may want further information, like details off your car's V5 and details off your driving licence. Simple enough for most of us, except if you were using a borrowed or hired car, then it might have to prepare yourself for a bit of back and forth communicating between all the different parties. Eventually, you should be able to find the information that you need and be given your lost PCN number, which you can then use to access the normal payment site or use it to make an appeal. There are quite a number of parking fine loopholes which could be used to appeal against a parking ticket. If you can prove that certain procedures or requirements were not adhered to, then you might be able to successfully appeal against your ticket. I've already mentioned councils needing to provide clear signage, but there's also a 10-minute grace period for car parks. This might work in your favour. If your ticket is accusing you of staying just a few minutes longer than you paid for, then you might have been within that 10-minute grace period and can use this loophole to get out of having to pay. If you were issued a ticket while stranded in a car park due to your vehicle breaking down, then so long as you have an invoice or some evidence from the mechanic or recovery service, then that should be enough to get you off the hook. In fact, if you can prove that almost any genuine emergency prevented you from leaving a car park on time, then that should give you good grounds for an appeal. Broken parking machines are one of the most common excuses for getting out of paying a ticket. However, beware, some of the private car parks state that you should not park when the parking meter isn't working. But are those signs clearly marked and easy to see? Again, just like the rest of the signage, if it's not clear, then snap some photos to help support your appeal. Some payment machines ask you to enter your vehicle's registration number. If you got a ticket simply because you made a typo and entered your registration incorrectly, then you shouldn't have to pay. If you're still in any doubt about a PCN number or you want help with an appeal, then you may want to speak to a solicitor for some expert advice. This could cost far less than you might imagine, with there now being many online solicitors who are quick to contact, easy to speak to, and very often far cheaper than meeting in person. For instance, JustAnswer has a trial that allows you to contact a solicitor for just £5. My colleague used this service and saved over £270 on his ticket. There's a link to JustAnswer's trial in the description, and if you use that, you'll also be supporting Money Nerd, so thank you.